Sit back and enjoy an hour of fascinating facts you didn't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. This is a very little-known place. It is the entrance to a temple in India. Hindus ascend to this temple to perform the Abhisheka, which is a ritual that consists of bathing a sculpture of Shiva with cow's milk. The temple is located between three large rocks, and you not only have to pass between them, but you also have to climb some very dangerous stairs. Some species of ferns, such as those of the genus Pteridium, produce visible spores on the underside of their fronds. These spores are grouped in sporangia, which when dehydrated can release their content. If pressed hard against the skin, the spores can be transferred and leave a temporary mark. The spores are dry and fine, which facilitates their adhesion by contact. The phenomenon known as foxfire is a form of bioluminescence produced by certain fungi that grow on decaying wood, such as the species Pinella stypticus, Omphallotus olearius, and Armillaria mellea. The light is generated through a chemical reaction between the enzyme luciferase and the molecule luciferin in the presence of oxygen, which produces light emission without heat. This greenish glow can be observed in humid and dark environments and has been documented for centuries. Fungal bioluminescence continues to be a subject of study for its potential in biotechnology and ecological communication. The tulip fields are a national symbol of the Netherlands, especially in regions such as Lies and Aalsmeer. Tulips originated in Central Asia, but were cultivated in Anatolia and popularized by the Ottoman Empire. They arrived in Europe in the 16th century and spread in Holland thanks to the botanist Carolus Clusius. In the 17th century, they caused an unprecedented economic fever. Today, the Netherlands is the world's largest exporter of flowers. Tulips remain an essential part of their cultural identity. The work Super Duper Perspective by the British artist Patrick Hughes uses a technique called reverspective, based on three-dimensional optical illusions. The parts that look farther away are actually the physically closest ones. This painting forces the viewer to move to capture the full effect. Hughes is recognized for exploring visual perception in his works. The Korowai tribe of Western New Guinea lives in the tallest tree houses in the world. Each of them is built about 35 meters high, and they do it to stay safe and away from wild animals and insects. Amari Gachon has become one of the most innovative and famous pastry chefs in the world. The basis of his activity is above all to propose creations in which he not only enhances the flavor of his desserts, but also their visual result, and he certainly achieves it. Extraweg is the pseudonym of the German designer Oliver Latta, known for his three-dimensional digital animations. His works explore emotions such as discomfort, wonder, or satisfaction through bodily distortions and surreal scenes. He uses human figures in repetitive or absurd situations that provoke visceral reactions. The project has gained notoriety for its provocative and technically refined style. If you see this one day, be very careful, it is more dangerous than you think. This is a flannel moth caterpillar, also known as a woolly cat or Megalopyge opercularis. It lives in many regions of Central America and the southern United States. It is easily recognizable because it looks like a mini wig, and although at first glance it seems harmless, under its colorful fur are hidden poisonous spines capable of producing intense pain that many have compared to what it feels like to break a bone. As if that were not enough, that pain could last up to 12 consecutive hours. To date, there are no medical procedures to neutralize this venom. You can only take painkillers to make the pain less acute. In areas near Lake Victoria, such as Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, swarms of mosquitoes are collected during certain seasons. These insects, known as kunga, are captured with utensils such as frying pans or buckets when they form dense clouds. Once gathered, they are compacted in the shape of medallions and cooked, usually grilled or fried. This traditional food is rich in protein and has been used as a survival resource. Although its preparation may seem unusual, it has nutritional and cultural value. The practice also helps to control the proliferation of mosquitoes. In London, England, there are systems of automatic bollards that control access to exclusive lanes for buses. These devices rise from the pavement to block the passage of unauthorized vehicles. The mechanism may seem abrupt, but it is designed to protect the priority of public transport. Its activation depends on sensors or authorization cards. Had you ever seen this natural phenomenon? It is known as a sky tsunami and is actually a wet microburst, a high-intensity downdraft produced by a thunderstorm or rain. The Ethiopian Abebe Bikila won the Olympic marathon barefoot at the Rome Olympics in 1960. It was the first time that an athlete won an Olympic gold medal in a 42-kilometer long-distance race. In nature, there are some flowers that, for some reason, are shaped like animals. Some examples are the Holy Ghost flower, which is shaped like a dove, the bee orchid, the monkey face orchid, the flying duck orchid, the egret orchid, and the spliced monkey orchid. The scythe is a manual tool used to cut grass since ancient times in Europe. Although its modern form appeared in the Iron Age, there is evidence of its use in the Neolithic more than 7,000 years ago. Today, it is still used in rural areas of Spain, Canada, and other countries for ecological or cultural reasons. In some events, competitions are organized between scythes and lawn mowers. These tests show the efficiency and technique of manual cutting versus mechanization. The scythe requires skill, but offers precision and silence. The height of the border wall between Mexico and the United States varies depending on the region, and in Tijuana it can reach up to 9 meters. In the year 2019, artists installed pink seesaws crossing the wall as part of a symbolic intervention. The work was created by Ronald Rail and Virginia Sanfratello to highlight the connection between divided communities. The games were active for only a few minutes. Juice extractors separate the liquid from the pulp and fiber of fruits and vegetables. This allows for the obtaining of light and fast-absorbing beverages. However, by eliminating the fiber, benefits such as intestinal regulation and glucose control are lost. The juice retains vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, especially if it is cold extracted. Even so, it does not offer the same nutritional complexity as the whole food. Consuming the whole fruit provides more satiety and balance. In Vancouver, an urban campaign was carried out to highlight the presence of pedestrians at intersections without traffic lights. The initiative, promoted by Vision Zero, consisted of placing realistic-looking foam bricks in baskets next to the road. Pedestrians would hold them as they crossed as a symbolic gesture to get the attention of drivers. The goal was to promote road safety without resorting to confrontation. Tymphanism is a digestive disorder that affects cows when gases accumulate in the rumen, the first compartment of their stomach. This accumulation can cause extreme bloating and cause the animal to lie on the ground. To relieve the pressure, there are two veterinary methods. One consists of introducing a tube through the mouth to the esophagus to release the gases. The other, more invasive, involves making a direct incision in the rumen. The treatment depends on the severity of the case. It is a serious condition that requires immediate attention. The Tateyama Kurobe Alpine Route in Japan is famous for its snow walls that form between April and June. These walls can reach up to 18 meters in height due to intense snowfall in the region. The road is completely covered, and the cleaning crews use positioning systems to locate the original route. The snowplow trucks excavate with precision right over the hidden path. The result is a snow corridor that attracts thousands of visitors every spring. This route connects the prefectures of Toyama and Nagano by crossing the Northern Alps. Meet John Edward, the boy who was trapped in a cave forever. He was 26 years old and loved to go caving with his family. His father frequently took him on expeditions in Utah since he was a child. The problem began when John wanted to go through a formation in the cave known as Birth Canal, but he went into the wrong place. He ended up in an unmapped section of the cave, and when he tried to turn around, he got stuck without being able to move and with barely enough space to breathe. Ninjas could tell the time just by looking at the pupils of a cat. The art of Nikamajutsu is the ability to determine the time of day with great accuracy by focusing exclusively on the pupil of cats. The pupils of these animals are very sensitive to light, which is why they were the ideal tool to know the time of day. This is one of the closest shots of the sun ever taken. It was recorded by a balloon telescope. These float at 40 kilometers of altitude. At those levels, disturbances that the atmosphere creates in its images are avoided, and they can be equivalent to those achieved by satellites in orbit, but more economical. In this video, you can see that planes are really made to fly despite not having engines. This Boeing 747 took off from the ground when it received a headwind of 100 kilometers per hour. The rolled leaf spider belongs to the genus Poltiaceae and lives in regions of Southeast Asia such as Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia. During the day it remains motionless, camouflaged as a dry leaf or broken branch to avoid predators. Its body has irregular shapes that reinforce the plant mimicry. It is active at night when it builds its web and hunts insects. The Fat Albert is a C-130 Hercules-type plane operated by the Blue Angels, the United States Navy's acrobatic team. For years it performed demonstrations with rocket-assisted takeoff, known as the JATO system. These exhibitions were suspended in the year 2009 due to a lack of supplies. Recorded in Texas, United States, what looks like a large flame in the sky is actually just the light of the sunset passing through a hole in the clouds. The hammerhead shark, known for its distinctive hammer-shaped head, has an exceptional panoramic view that allows it to have a field of vision of almost 360 degrees. This unique characteristic is due to the arrangement of its eyes, which are located at the ends of its head. The zoetrope is a stroboscopic machine invented in the 19th century by William George Horner. It consists of a rotating drum with sequenced images that create the illusion of movement. This device was one of the forerunners of cinema. The technique is based on the persistence of vision. The Giants of Royal Deluxe are incredible sets of huge puppets built by the outdoor theater company Royal Deluxe. They are realistic, giant, and require up to 30 people to operate them. The largest puppet measures approximately 11 meters in height and weighs several tons. There were 3 giants: the dog, the little girl, and the diver. This was the first appearance of the giants in Holland, in Leeuwarden, considered the European capital of culture in the year 2018. Some wine bottle holders are designed to look magical, although they work with real physical principles. Their simple structure and precise angle allow the weight of the bottle to be balanced. The center of gravity is calculated so that the bottle remains suspended without falling. These holders are usually made of wood, metal, or rigid rope. The Dinka tribe of South Sudan has the tallest people in the whole world. Here you can see some of their members. They have a taller average height than that of the African continent, exceeding 1.80 meters. The reason remains a mystery, but it is believed to be related to their nutrition, which consists of a diet rich in dairy products, cereals, and meats. The HAL exoskeleton was designed by the Japanese engineer Yoshi P. Sankei at the University of Tsukuba and developed by the company Cyberdyne. This device uses bioelectrical sensors that detect nerve signals sent from the brain to the muscles. Thanks to this technology, HAL can anticipate and amplify the user's movement. It is used in medical rehabilitation, assistance to people with reduced mobility, and physical support in work environments. Although its military use is not publicly documented, its potential is broad. It functions as an interface between neuromuscular intention and mechanical action. This was Hanako, a koi fish that lived 226 years. In 1966, 2 of its scales were removed and extensively studied to determine its age. It is the longest living koi fish we have on record so far. It was born in 1751 and died on July 7, 1977. Fredrik Kjærensen is a Norwegian designer who presented his collection at the Central St. Martin's graduation show in London in the year 2019. His designs consisted of large inflatable structures made of natural rubber that enveloped the models' bodies. During the runway, the bubbles slowly deflated to transform into garments. The air was regulated by internal valves without the need for additional oxygen or respiratory systems. The proposal was celebrated for its originality and visual symbolism. In certain heavy infrastructure projects, controlled explosions have been used to create trenches in rocky terrain. This technique allows for the opening of channels where underground pipes are then installed. The Space Shuttle Endeavour carried out 25 missions between 1992 and 2011. In 2012, it was transported in a demonstration flight on a shuttle carrier aircraft, a modified Boeing 747. This flight passed through Los Angeles before arriving at the California Science Center. The shuttle carriers were used to transport the shuttles from the landing sites to the Kennedy Space Center. The shuttles took off in a vertical position coupled to rockets and landed as airplanes. The Endeavour is now a museum piece and a symbol of the shuttle era. Its legacy is still present in modern aerospace history. This impressive skinless animatronic baby looks a little disturbing. It was created by the company Millennium FX for the 2003 film This Little Life. The 7 Stars is a luxury train that has operated on the island of Kyushu, Japan, since the year 2013. It is composed of 7 cars, 5 with suites, 1 restaurant, and 1 lounge. The rooms include a private bathroom with a shower. The train is towed by a DF200 diesel locomotive. It offers 2- or 4-day routes with several stops at tourist points. Prices vary according to the itinerary, from about $4,600 to more than $11,000 per person. Perhaps you did not know that a day on Venus lasts longer than a year on Venus. To understand this, it is important to remember that a day is the time it takes for a planet to rotate on its own axis, while a year is the time it takes to orbit around the Sun. Venus takes around 243 Earth days to complete a rotation on itself, while it needs approximately 225 Earth days to complete an orbit around the Sun. Therefore, a day on Venus is longer than a year. Recorded in El Salvador, this video shows a truck loaded with straw catching fire. Straw is highly flammable and can ignite with a minimum heat source. However, there is also the risk of spontaneous combustion. This phenomenon occurs when the material ferments, generating internal heat that can reach the ignition point. Similar cases have been documented in organic materials stored in humid conditions. The moth has the best hearing in the animal kingdom. The moth species Galleria melanella is capable of hearing the sharpest tones, surpassing even the bat. To give you an idea, a human being is capable of hearing at a frequency of 20 kilohertz. This moth, on the other hand, detects up to 300 kilohertz, which allows it to escape from predators and find a mate in its environment. This is the worst thing that could happen to a person with ornithophobia. These sailors came across a huge flock of birds on the high seas. On some commercial Qatar Airways flights, the transport of up to 80 falcons in the cabin has been documented. This practice is common in Middle Eastern countries, where falconry is an ancient tradition. Falcons are birds of prey used for hunting, and their air transport requires special permits. In the United Arab Emirates, these birds can obtain an individual health document, informally known as a passport. This allows them to travel to countries such as Morocco, Oman, Pakistan, or Saudi Arabia. Although it is not a conventional passport, it fulfills similar functions. The Death Road in Bolivia is the most dangerous road in the world. This 80-kilometer stretch connects La Paz with Coroico, crossing the Andes at more than 4,500 meters of altitude, with cliffs of up to 600 meters and without protective railings. It is famous for its narrowness, fog, and frequent rains that make it slippery. Although alternate routes were built, it remains a popular destination for cyclists and adventurers looking for adrenaline. The ground of this forest seems to be breathing, and, although you may not believe it, this scene is not a montage. This happened in Canada, but it is not a very usual phenomenon. In fact, certain conditions must be met with very strong winds during abundant rain. The water weakens the state of cohesion of the soil, and the force of the air on the tops of the trees makes them transfer the movement to their roots. This is how these spectacles are produced. However, it is not recommended to be near, as the force of the wind could knock down the trees, putting the lives of those in the area at risk. He is Aaron Yoder, a man who holds the world record for running a mile backwards in the shortest possible time. Although it seems strange, this exists. Apparently, this technique is known as retro running, and Aaron is the fastest of all. His current record in the 1-mile distance is 5 minutes and 30 seconds. A store in China has implemented an innovative idea. Instead of just trying on clothes in front of a mirror, customers can use a treadmill. This allows them to see more clearly how the clothes look in motion, offering a more realistic and useful perspective than a simple static view. The most stylish bird on the planet. This is the secretary bird, or Sagittarius serpentarius, that has an enviable appearance. It is easy to recognize it by its elegant plumage and its professional model eyelashes. Its name comes from the color of its appearance that resembles the suit of British secretaries from centuries ago. It can measure up to 1 meter and, unlike other birds, it spends more time on the ground than flying. It is found in Africa, south of the Sahara Desert. Domestic chickens retain the ability to fly short distances, such as to escape or reach perches. They cannot sustain long or high flights due to their anatomy. Over centuries of domestication, they have developed heavier bodies and muscles less adapted to flight. This transformation responds to selection for meat or egg production. Although their flight is limited, it is still functional in certain contexts. Lighter breeds can fly better than industrial ones. Who would have thought that soccer on bicycles could form a sport? Well, this sport exists and is called cycleball. The curious thing is that this sport is not considered a variety of soccer, but a variety of cycling. The mountain of 7 colors, known as Vinicunca, is located in the Peruvian Andes and owes its stripes to the deposit of minerals such as iron oxides, clays, and carbonates. These colors are of geological origin and do not depend on light. In specific conditions of humidity and sun, the Brocken spectrum can be observed, an optical illusion caused by the refraction of light in suspended water droplets. This phenomenon generates halos or shadows projected on clouds or fog. Dr. Donald Unger cracked the knuckles of his left hand daily for more than 60 years, while the fingers of his right hand were left intact. To the surprise of many, he did not have any ailments like arthritis in either of his 2 hands. The humanoid robot Unitree H1 was developed in China by the company Unitree Robotics and is known for its speed and mobility. In a test carried out in the year 2025, it presented sudden movements while it was suspended, which generated concern about its autonomous control. There is no evidence that it attacked intentionally. The situation was attributed to a technical failure. It is ironic that Thomas Edison, one of the most influential and well-known inventors in history, was afraid of the dark, considering his legacy of having brought electric light to the world with the invention of the incandescent light bulb. The Patong tribe in Myanmar is known for the tradition of women wearing brass rings around their necks to lengthen them, a practice that begins from a young age. The first living coffin already exists, and it is made from mushrooms. It was designed by the Dutch company Loop in collaboration with two funeral cooperatives. It has been called Loop Living Cocoon and can biodegrade in 45 days. The inside of the coffin is filled with a soft moss fern that contributes to the composting process. In addition, it is capable of neutralizing toxins from the human body so that they serve as fertilizer and are not polluting. Fusashi Pegasus was a thoroughbred horse valued at $70 million, making him one of the most expensive horses in the world. In the year 2000, he won the Kentucky Derby and attracted the attention of several jockeys from all over the world for his speed and strength. So he was auctioned and bought by the Coolmore Stud Farm for the price of $70 million. Unfortunately, he died in the year 2023 of old age at the age of 26. At the University of Exeter, in the United Kingdom, you can get a postgraduate degree in magic and esotericism, but don't get your hopes up. You won't leave there a wizard like Harry Potter. It is a program in which students must study everything about King Arthur and dragons, learning about magical traditions. And although it only focuses on their history, their religion, and other sciences of magic from both the West and the East, it is still a little unsettling. Videos are circulating online from China that show machines applying rhythmic taps with spoons on the back. It is claimed that these practices help to align the spine and break down accumulated lactic acid. On the shores of Lake Michigan, United States, strange ice balls can form naturally. This phenomenon occurs when fragments of soft snow or ice are molded by the wind and waves. By repeatedly turning, they are compacted into a spherical shape, similar to the process of stone erosion. The conditions must be very specific in temperature and humidity. Wilson's bird of paradise is a bird endemic to the Raja Ampat Islands in Indonesia. The males have striking colors and a twisted mustache-shaped tail. The female, on the other hand, has a short tail and brown plumage, with the crown somewhat colored but less intense than in males. Its size is around 16 centimeters. The weight of the males ranges from 50 to 70 grams, while in females it does not exceed 60 grams. The Montauk Project is an urban legend that arose around the experimental operations carried out at the Montauk Air Force Station, a military base in Long Island, New York, during the Cold War. It is claimed that the United States government carried out secret experiments there, including teleportation, mind control, and time travel, which has inspired numerous movies and series. A freshwater crustacean, such as a crab or a river lobster, can get trapped in submerged bone cavities. In some cases, specimens have been observed inside fish skulls, possibly seeking refuge. The Natch Point Lighthouse, located on the south coast of Wales, has a foghorn used to alert vessels on days of low visibility. This device emits sound signals when the light from the lighthouse is not enough to warn about the proximity of the coast. Foghorns were common in maritime areas prone to dense fog. Before their use, large bells were used as an acoustic signal. Although now in disuse, it is still an example of traditional maritime technology. KFC produced an edible nail polish for its customers in Hong Kong. The nail polish comes in two flavors and colors, original and hot and spicy. To use them, consumers must apply it on their nails, letting it dry and then licking it again and again. KFC has asked its consumers to choose their favorite flavor to mass-produce it. Have you ever wondered how the brake mechanism of cars works? Well, the secret lies in the use of friction. When you press the pedal, the vehicle slows down or stops due to the pressure exerted by the calipers on the wheel's discs. This generates an enormous amount of heat and friction, which reduces the speed of the brake discs and therefore the vehicle. Meet Autonomous Weeder, the agricultural robot capable of using a laser to eliminate weeds that could affect the crop. The robot has 12 high-resolution cameras, an artificial intelligence system with NVIDIA technology, 150-watt CO2 lasers with a precision of 3 mm ready to shoot every 50 milliseconds, LiDAR sensors that allow it to detect possible obstacles, and 8 modules that allow it to kill 100,000 weeds every hour. 7-Simul is an advanced puzzle that simulates clocks on both sides of the cube, with 9 dials per side. Each face has 4 buttons that control specific combinations of clocks. When a button is pressed, 4 dials move, and when buttons are combined, the interactions change. The goal is to align all the hands towards a red mark in the shortest possible time. This design is derived from the Rubik's clock and is used in specialized competitions. The Wilson Airless, the first airless basketball, has been three-dimensionally printed in a single piece. It is composed of hexagonal holes and follows the same principles as airless tires. The key is in the hardness and elasticity of the materials. This Colombian soccer player has an interesting compound name with the initials of all the months of the year in chronological order. His name is FMM Jason Gonzalez. According to his parents, they had this strange idea because they like the months of the year. However, he prefers to be called Jason instead of his full name because it is easier to pronounce. This has earned him curious nicknames like Calendar or Almanac. Every summer, on La Torta Hill near Esquel, Argentina, a natural ice tunnel forms. It appears at about 1,900 meters of altitude and usually lasts about a month, between January and February. The tunnel can reach up to 100 meters in length. It melts from the inside out as the vault remains in the shade. This is Hercules, the largest Australian funnel web spider ever seen. It measures 8 centimeters long, double that of a standard specimen, and its venom can kill a person in 15 minutes. Did you know that underwater rugby exists? This sport is played in a pool using a ball filled with water. 2 teams of 11 players must face each other to put the ball in the opposing team's basket, which is 4 meters deep. The equipment for this game consists of fins, oxygen tubes, and diving goggles. Videos are circulating in India where a high-voltage cable is apparently submerged in fresh water. Although this type of water has low conductivity compared to salt water, it is still capable of transmitting current if there is an active source. The amount of water does not guarantee safety, and contact can be lethal if the cable is damaged or poorly insulated. Electricity spreads according to the conductivity of the medium, and rainwater or river water is not electrically neutral. In 2005, a photography contest was held where this photo won. It was portrayed by the Micron studio to show the public the capabilities of laser cutting technology. The fly was already dead when they put the lenses on it. The Argyrodes colubrinus spider, native to Australia, belongs to the family Therididae and is characterized by its elongated body that hangs from silk threads, simulating a trapped twig to deceive other wandering spiders, which constitute its main source of food. It does not build its own webs, but rather settles in those of other species to take advantage of their structure and attract prey. Its venom does not pose a risk to human beings. This is the art of blacksmithing with Chinese drawings on the back of a cell phone. The wires are bent and glued to the lines of the drawing so that in the end they are filled with paint, possibly acrylic. The Sydney monorail was an elevated transport system that operated between 1988 and 2013. It ran a circuit of just over 3 kilometers connecting areas such as Darling Harbour and the shopping centre. The design allowed for urban views from a height, but its capacity was limited. It was dismantled for reasons of efficiency and urban planning. The Dawn Mk2 Aurora is an experimental spaceplane designed by Dawn Aerospace, with headquarters in New Zealand and the Netherlands. In its test flights, it has exceeded the speed of sound, reaching Mach 1.1. It has also managed to ascend up to 25 kilometers of altitude from the Glentanner airfield. Although its performance is notable, it has not yet crossed the Kármán line or reached outer space. This line, defined by international convention, is located 100 kilometers above sea level. The Torch Festival is celebrated among e-communities in provinces such as Sichuan, Yunnan, and Guizhou. For 3 days, bonfires and torches are lit to ward off spirits and attract a good harvest. The date is determined according to the traditional Chinese calendar, which combines lunar and solar cycles. This system is different from the Gregorian calendar, based solely on the sun. The festival usually falls on the 24th day of the 6th lunar month. In the Shilmala River, near the city of Sirsi in Karnataka, India, there are thousands of Shivalingas carved in stone. This site, known as Sahasralinga, is uncovered during the dry season, when the water level drops. The sculptures were commissioned by King Satashivaraya more than 3 centuries ago as a religious offering. The lingam represents the creative energy of the god Shiva and has phallic symbolism within Hinduism. The place is considered sacred and attracts pilgrims every year. Possibly recorded in China, these could be rice crops. These farmers hung irrigation hoses on balloons so that it was uniform. Electric arcs occur when current jumps between 2 separate conductive points. Their duration depends on the type of current, the voltage, and the humidity of the environment. Quickly separating the contacts can help extinguish the arc faster. However, cutting active cables with pliers while another person pulls them is extremely dangerous. This practice does not guarantee safety or control over the arc. Firefighters must take extreme precautions when using water. A continuous stream can form a conductive path if the source is still energized, which poses a risk of electrocution. For this reason, mist or spray streams are used, which reduce conductivity. The effectiveness of the method depends on the voltage, the type of current, and the environmental humidity. It must always be confirmed that the area is de-energized before intervening. Urban scenes of New York in 1900 have been restored with color and sound in several audiovisual projects. In them, one can see boater hats made of straw with a black ribbon, worn by men of different social classes. Their origin is associated with Venice, although their use spread throughout Europe and America since the end of the 19th century. The streets were still full of horse-drawn carriages, which generated large amounts of excrement. This dung was initially collected to be sold as fertilizer. Over time, the accumulation was such that farmers charged to remove it. The so-called sea angels are gastropod mollusks of the Gymnosomata group. They are transparent, pelagic, and move with undulating movements thanks to their parapodia, which look like wings. Although they have a shell in their embryonic phase, they lose it when they reach adulthood. Some species, such as Cleon limacina, can measure up to 5 centimeters. They live in both polar waters and in temperate and tropical regions. The Curiosities Tunnel in Lyon, France, was inaugurated in December of 2013 as a multimodal gallery for pedestrians, cyclists, and buses. It has a length of approximately 1,760 meters and runs parallel to the original road tunnel. It is equipped with ambient lighting, visual projections, and sound to improve the experience of users. It is one of the most innovative tunnels in Europe in shared infrastructure. The Sea Shadow 529 was an experimental stealth vessel built by Lockheed and the United States Navy in the year 1985. Its SWAF-type design included 2 submerged hulls that improved stability in rough waters. It was developed in secret until the year 1993 as part of research into stealth naval technology. It never entered active service or fulfilled operational military functions. It was offered as a museum piece, but was not accepted. In the year 2012, it was dismantled and sold for scrap. In the Russian city of Prehistoric, a case of green snow caused by industrial contamination was documented. The phenomenon occurred after a chemical spill at a nearby chromium factory. The snow acquired an acidic green tone, generating environmental concern. This is a forensic approximation of the face of Maximilien Robespierre, a leader of the French Revolution. His death mask and historical medical records were used to reconstruct it. The technique combines medicine, anthropology, and art. Robespierre died at the age of 36 and had visible smallpox scars. It has been suggested that he suffered from jaundice, which would explain the yellowish tone of his skin. Sarcoidosis has also been speculated due to observed skin lesions. Although not all diagnoses are verifiable, the reconstruction is based on physical and documentary evidence. Transcascadia is an enduro-type mountain biking race that is held in the Cascade Mountain region in the northwestern United States. The event takes place cross-country and stands out for its technical routes and wild landscapes. It is organized by a nonprofit entity that promotes sustainable access to trails. In addition to the competition, the organizers work on the restoration of forgotten paths. Their work benefits cyclists, hikers, and riders alike. The race seeks to combine sport, conservation, and community. The Spanish Legion, an elite unit of the Army, participates every October 12th in the parade for the National Day. In these acts, they are usually accompanied by a goat or ram, an emblematic mascot that symbolizes the unique spirit of the Corps. Although it is popularly called the Legion's goat, the animal has varied over the years. Monkeys, parrots, wild boars, and sheep have also paraded, like the famous Kilo. A shock wave in a tunnel can be observed using techniques such as Schlieren, which reveal the compression of the air. This phenomenon occurs in supersonic wind tunnels and is associated with abrupt changes in pressure. The white cloud that appears in some cases is due to the condensation of vapor by the shock wave, similar to what happens when a plane breaks the sound barrier. The Morlands Tunnel is located in San Sebastián, in the province of Guipúzcoa, Spain, and was inaugurated in the year 2009. It has a length of 840 meters and connects the neighborhoods of Abada Antiguo and Amara Nuevo. It is exclusive for cyclists and is not enabled for pedestrians. The infrastructure was adapted from an old railway tunnel. It remains closed at night for safety reasons. It is considered one of the most outstanding cycling tunnels in Europe. Charles Spencer Chaplin was born in London in the year 1889 and grew up in poverty. His mother was institutionalized for mental problems and his father died young from alcoholism. Chaplin married 4 times and had 11 children, including Geraldine and Michael. In 1931, he was photographed alongside Albert Einstein at the premiere of City Lights. He died in Switzerland in 1977 at the age of 88 from a cerebral hemorrhage. In 1978, his grave was robbed by 2 criminals who tried to demand a ransom. In the Kuzbis region, also known as the Kuznets Basin in Siberia, Russia, the phenomenon of black snow has been documented. This occurs due to the intense open-pit coal mining activity, which releases dust into the environment. The suspended particles dye the snow when it falls, generating dark landscapes in the middle of winter. Cities like Kiselyovsk have been especially affected. Environmentalists have pointed out that it is more common to see black snow than white snow in this area. The phenomenon has generated concern about its effects on health. Although it seems to be frozen and there is no movement, it is a liquid that is in free fall. If you wonder how this is possible, the answer is that it is a laminar flow. That is, when the movement of a fluid is perfectly ordered and smooth, giving the impression that it is completely static. This phenomenon can be observed in certain physics experiments and in nature. Sandona di Piave in Italy hosts a national meeting of the Bersaglieri every May, a historic corps of Italian light infantry. Founded in the 19th century, this group is known for its marching speed and participation in multiple conflicts. During the events, the members parade with their characteristic hats decorated with grouse feathers. The hat, called a vira, is a distinctive symbol of the corps. Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle Corporation, owns Lanai, the 6th largest island in Hawaii. He bought 98% of the island in 2012 for about $300 million. The remaining 2% of the island is owned by the state of Hawaii or private individuals. Glacial moss found in Antarctica can survive and remain dormant for more than 10,000 years under the ice. Once conditions are favorable and the ice melts, the moss can grow again, continuing its life cycle after centuries in suspension. In Osaka, Japan, old public phones have undergone a fascinating transformation. Due to technological advances and the prevalence of mobile devices, public phones have ceased to be relevant. To prevent the phone booths from falling into disuse, local authorities have decided to reuse them in a unique and creative way. Some of these booths have been converted into small public aquariums, adding a touch of beauty and entertainment to the city's streets. The white-eared marmosets or Bolivian euostitis sleep with their tails intertwined because it helps them maintain balance and strengthen social bonds. A spacewalk is an extravehicular activity performed by astronauts outside the International Space Station. These operations allow for the installation of equipment, the repair of systems, or the carrying out of scientific research. Astronauts wear pressurized suits that protect them from the vacuum and extreme temperatures. In May of the year 2025, a walk was carried out to install solar panels and adjust an antenna. These tasks require rigorous training and coordination from the ground. The station orbits at about 400 kilometers above sea level. Tea is the most consumed beverage in the world after water. Its origin dates back to ancient China, where, according to legend, it was discovered by the Emperor Shennong in the year 2737 before Christ, when some tea leaves fell into its boiling water. Today, tea is grown and enjoyed all over the world, with a wide variety of styles and preparations that reflect global cultural diversity. Chefchaouen in Morocco is known as the Blue City due to its buildings painted in various shades of blue. It is believed that this color not only beautifies the city, but also repels mosquitoes. The city is a popular tourist destination known for its tranquil atmosphere and picturesque beauty. Electrical humidity sensors are used in agriculture to measure the water content in the soil. They work using principles such as capacitance or electrical resistance and allow for precise irrigation adjustment. They are key tools in mechanized crops and precision agriculture systems. These sensors help to optimize resources and improve agricultural performance. Machu Picchu is built to be earthquake-proof. This feat that seems miraculous in the modern world was already possible in the era of the Incas. They used a brilliant engineering technique called ashlar, which consists of cutting rocks so that they fit together perfectly. That way, the stones could move during the earthquake, but then settle back into their correct position. What you see on the screen are some strange insects called Nycterobidae. They are tiny flattened flies very similar to spiders. They have no eyes or wings and are also known as batflies. This name fits them perfectly because they are parasites that live in the fur of bats and almost never separate from them. For this reason, they are very rare to see in nature. This is Stefano Cernetic, one of the biggest impostors of recent times. He fooled many rich and famous people into believing he was the prince of Montenegro and Macedonia. The strange thing is that Montenegro has not had a royal family since 1918. The Italian police discovered that he was an impostor, although he never went to prison for what he did. Some species of iguanas, such as the marine iguana of the Galapagos, have the ability to remain submerged underwater for long periods of time. They use their jaw to bite algae and marine plants and can hold their breath for several minutes while they feed. This adaptation allows them to survive in their natural habitat. In the year 2016, a company created the most expensive and exclusive potato chips there are. Each package only had 5 chips, but cost $62. The reason for this price is that they were a limited edition of 100 units and ingredients of the highest qualities were used. These chips were manufactured by a Swedish microbrewery called St. Erik's, which assures that they were hand-cultivated in a mountainous region far from civilization. They also say that the land in which they grow is the most appropriate for the development of the tuber, as it enhances its flavor and optimizes its nutritional benefits. In Japan, they grow square watermelons. Square watermelons are easier to pack, which makes them ideal for export and presentation in stores and markets. They are also popular as gifts. Have you ever wondered if dogs could talk? Dogs have limited vocal abilities due to anatomical differences in their vocal cords and facial structures compared to humans. Although they can produce a variety of sounds, they lack the physical and cognitive ability to speak like humans. However, they can communicate through barking, growling, howling, and other sounds, as well as through body language and facial expressions. A giant industrial boiler was moved in Mexico from Querétaro to Tula, Hidalgo, in the year 2024. This type of device is used to generate high-pressure steam in large volumes. They are common in refineries and oil processing plants. The transfer required special platforms due to its size and weight. More than 30 people participated in the logistical operation. This is the heaviest mango in the world, for 0.25 kilos. This mango was harvested in 2020 on the San Martín de Guayada farm in Colombia by the farmers German Orlando Novoa Barrera and Reina Maria Marroquin. South Africa has 3 capitals. Cape Town is the legislative, Pretoria is the administrative, and Bloemfontein is the judicial. The choice of these cities was due to historical and location-based reasons and the desire to balance power among the country's different regions. This is the longest water roller coaster in the world. It is located in China and the ride measures 2.7 kilometers. And this is what the ride looks like in the first person. The Tree of Life in Bahrain is a solitary acacia tree more than 400 years old that is located in the middle of the Bahrain desert, far from any visible water source. Its ability to survive in such harsh conditions has led many to consider it a natural miracle, and it is an important tourist destination and a cultural symbol for the country. In Trafalgar Square, in London, four majestic bronze lions are erected. It is said that if one day the Big Ben clock were to strike 13 times, the lions would come to life, causing catastrophic consequences for the city. Built in 1867 by the British sculptor Sir Edwin Landseer, they were modeled after a dead lion, which, due to the long construction process, disintegrated completely before he could build the paws. For that reason, he had to base himself on the paws of a domestic cat to finish them. The Pontifical Swiss Guard was founded in the year 1506 and protects the Pope and the Holy See. It is composed exclusively of Swiss citizens, practicing Catholics, bachelors, and with military training. Although their uniform is of Renaissance style, they receive modern training. The number of troops is around 135, which makes it the smallest professional army in the world. They are also instructed in the ceremonial use of the halberd and the sword. This is one of the most mysterious and incredible caves due to its depth. It is located in Georgia, United States. Its name is Ellison Cave, and it extends for more than 300 meters vertically. One of its wells sinks 178 meters, and to give you a reference, that is more than twice the height of the Statue of Liberty, so it is not a good idea for you to fall there. The cave can only be explored with expert guides and using the proper equipment. I present to you the largest rat in the world. Its scientific name is Phloemys pallidus, but it is commonly known as the Philippine giant cloud rat. This rat can grow up to 75 centimeters, and to give you an idea, that is 3 times larger than the average rat. Fortunately, they say that this species of rats only lives in the Philippines. Have you ever wondered why the on and off symbol has that shape? It is a combination of the 2 symbols that were used in the past, a 1 and a 0. The symbol is based on the binary system. The 1 represents the on state and the 0 the off state. Recorded in Los Angeles, this video shows an electric scooter flash mob. Hundreds of young people travel the streets in rented vehicles, summoned by social media. This type of event, although spontaneous, is organized and can generate congestion or road risks. The term flash mob refers to brief and coordinated collective actions in public spaces. In this case, it applies to the massive use of scooters as a form of urban expression. Local authorities have warned about its impact on safety. During the winter, Hawaii receives more snow on average than New York. This is because the snow accumulates on the summits of the high volcanoes Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa due to their high altitude. Toads and frogs cannot swallow without closing their eyes at the same time. Most of these amphibians do not have teeth, so they must ingest their food whole. Since the muscles that do the work to swallow are connected to their eyelids, they cannot swallow without blinking. With this movement, they compress their prey and can thus digest more easily. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, never completed his university studies. Despite having entered Reed College in Oregon in 1972, 6 months later he abandoned it, following his instinct to reinvent himself and create the monster of Apple, the submerged forest of Argentina. Lake Troffel in Patagonia, Argentina, harbors a submerged forest in its depths. The forest was deliberately flooded in the 1960s for the construction of a dam. Today, the trunks of the dead trees still emerge from the water, creating a spectacular and slightly spooky landscape that attracts divers from all over the world. If the water has a cinnamon aroma, it is crucial to refrain from drinking it. This peculiar warning is based on documented cases in which the smell of cinnamon was used to mask the taste or smell of toxic or poisonous substances. This is the Ceramic Speed Driven, an interesting bicycle that does not have chains. This innovative creation was presented by the Ceramic Speed Company and promises to be a revolution in the world of cyclists. It uses gears that transmit the force from the pedals to the speed changes, replacing the conventional chain system, which helps to decrease friction and breakdowns, making the movement more efficient. This design allows people to go much faster with much less effort. Spotify was launched in 2008 by Daniel Ek and Martin Lawrenson as a music streaming platform. In its beginnings, it faced great challenges to obtain the rights from record labels, which almost led to the company's bankruptcy. However, its innovative approach of offering a freemium model, where users can listen to music for free with ads or subscribe to a premium service without ads, turned out to be a success. Today, Spotify has more than 500 million active users worldwide, making it one of the largest and most popular music platforms. NASA has captured images of the flow of shock waves generated by supersonic planes using the Schlieren photography technique. This variant, called background-oriented Schlieren, allows for the visualization of changes in air density. The photos show how sound compresses the air when it exceeds the speed of sound. Shaquille O'Neal has the record for the largest purchase in Walmart's history. The former basketball player spent $70,000 in a single stop at the supermarket in 2008. The shopping list included pants, socks, t-shirts, televisions, computers, and several other things. The Veluwemeer Aqueduct is located on the highway between Flevoland and Gelderland in the Netherlands. Instead of building a drawbridge, a road was designed for cars to pass under the canal. Boats cross over, which allows simultaneous traffic without interruptions. The depth of the water is approximately 3 meters, which makes this type of structure viable. The design takes advantage of the flat terrain and the hydraulic control characteristic of the country. Kimchi is a traditional Korean dish of fermented vegetables. It is a staple food in the South Korean diet, made mainly with cabbage, radishes, garlic, and red peppers. Kimchi is known for its spicy flavor and its ability to improve digestion due to its natural probiotics. It is believed that there are more than 200 varieties of kimchi, and its preparation is an important part of Korean culture and identity, often accompanied by rice and other dishes. In the district of Lesco, in the Cusco region of Peru, a geological fault was activated that caused the Ludo Hill to slide. The crack reached a length of approximately 2 kilometers and destroyed more than 30 homes and a health center. The event occurred in the year 2023 and affected more than 60 families. This is a portable motor that can turn a common bike into an electric one. Its name is Clip, and it is manufactured by an American company. This device adds a power that allows it to reach a maximum speed of 24 kilometers per hour. It takes about 40 minutes to charge and is as light as a laptop, so it can be carried in a backpack. If you wanted to buy one, the retail price would be $250. The American astronaut Peggy Whitson and the Russian cosmonaut Sergei Treshchev performed a demonstration with yo-yos in microgravity conditions aboard the International Space Station as part of a NASA educational project about toys in space. The experiment, recorded during a mission in the year 2002, sought to show how spinning objects behave without the influence of Earth's gravity, using different types of yo-yos to observe their trajectories and stability. The modern yo-yo has roots in the Philippines, where it was used as a toy and a hunting tool, and its name comes from Tagalog. However, there are similar representations in Greek vases from more than 2,000 years ago, such as one from the year 440 before Christ that shows a young man playing with a disc suspended by a string. The design evolved over time to become a popular toy all over the world. Today, there are professional yo-yo competitions in which jugglers perform complex tricks. The tepuis of Venezuela. These table mountains in the Grand Sabana of Venezuela are ancient geological formations with flat tops and vertical sides that rise dramatically above the surrounding jungle. Some tepuis, such as Mount Roraima, are home to unique ecosystems with species of plants and animals that are not found anywhere else in the world, true islands in the sky. This guy built a large aquarium in the living room of his house and usually dives in it. His name is Eli, an Israeli fanatic of these artificial ecosystems. His enormous aquarium has 30,000 liters of water and is home to more than 150 tropical fish of 30 different varieties. The tank is designed to replicate a natural reef environment. This is why many of his animals have reached sizes that usually only occur in free environments. Maintaining this aquarium is quite expensive, but this man has enough money to do it. Macquarie Island in the Pacific Ocean. This remote island is located halfway between Australia and Antarctica and is famous for its unique population of penguins and seals. What makes it geologically notable is that it is one of the few places on Earth where the oceanic crust and mantle rocks are being exposed above sea level, offering a rare glimpse into the planet's composition. In addition, its biodiversity makes it a place of interest for scientists. The sport called 360 ball was created in South Africa by the brothers John and Mark Collins in the 2000s. It is played on a circular court with a concave disc in the center and has two modalities, singles and doubles. In the doubles version, both players must participate in each play, one receiving and the other hitting the ball towards the central disc. Although it can be practiced outdoors, it was not specifically designed for the beach. Its dynamics combine reflexes, strategy, and coordination in a unique format. Jackie Chan risks his life in every movie since he does not use stunt doubles. The Chinese actor has always felt capable of performing the most dangerous scenes of his movies himself, from jumping from one building to another to hanging from a helicopter in mid-flight. Unfortunately, this sometimes takes its toll, as he has been injured a total of 38 times throughout his acting career. Some of his injuries have been minor, but on some occasions he has ended up in the hospital for several weeks, which demonstrates his dedication to cinema. Certain studies have discovered that the saliva of a marine snail is as effective for relieving pain as morphine. The advantages over the latter are that very low doses are needed and it does not cause dependence. Have you ever wondered why some dogs like to lick glass? In most cases, it is due to a natural instinct that helps them relieve feelings of anxiety or boredom. It is a replacement behavior because they tend to lick themselves to calm down, to caress themselves, or sometimes to relieve stress. It is similar to when they go in circles before lying down. They do it by instinct, since in the past this ritual helped them flatten the ground. This company sells molds with textures to give your ice cubes an elegant finish. These small sacs are filled with hundreds of funnel web spider eggs. Their bite is so potent that it can kill a person in just 15 minutes. They usually live in forests, but often end up in the gardens of nearby homes, representing a great danger to people's lives. They are currently being investigated by Australian scientists who want to create a specific antidote to counteract the effect of their bite. Part of the town of Sentinel de las Bodegas in Spain is located under a huge rock formation. This is because the town is located in a canyon eroded by the Guadalporcan River. The town's houses were built taking advantage of the holes left by the river's erosion in the rock. The fedora hat, originally designed in the 1890s, became a popular fashion accessory among men and women in the 20th century. It was initially associated with figures of authority and detectives. The fedora gained prominence in pop culture thanks to gangster movies and iconic characters like Indiana Jones. Its flexible shape and wide brim make it versatile, and it continues to be a symbol of classic style and sophistication. At the beginning of the Jurassic period, there was a species of dinosaur called Pegamastax, and it is one of the rarest dinosaurs that have been discovered. It is described as a mixture of a parrot and a porcupine, and it had a beak and teeth that it sharpened when it opened and closed its jaw. Popcorn has a prehistoric origin, with evidence of its consumption more than 5,000 years ago in America. The indigenous people heated them over fire, discovering how the kernels exploded. In addition to being a food, popcorn was used as a decoration in religious ceremonies. Its popularity exploded in the 20th century with the arrival of cinema, becoming the snack par excellence in projection rooms. Most astronauts, when asked what space smells like, reply that it smells very bad. Some say its smell is like scorched metal, others like burnt meat and even rust. In any case, almost all of them agree that the smell is absolutely unbearable. But if there is no air in space, how is it possible to detect the smell? This is a great mystery, as it is believed that this aroma is due to the interaction of chemical compounds in space with spacesuits and other equipment. To date, no one agrees on the precise origin of the smell. Meet Nina Keneally, a 66-year-old American woman who was renting herself out as a mother through the internet. It was a peculiar business that started in the year 2015. Her company was called Need a Mom, and its motto was, "When you need a mother, but not your mother." She had a rate of $40 per hour, and the service she offered consisted of listening to her clients' problems, offering them advice, helping them plan and do their shopping, among other tasks that mothers usually do. Walmart was founded in 1962 by Sam Walton in Rogers, Arkansas. Walton's idea was to offer low prices and a wide variety of products in one place, which led to the creation of the first discount store. His focus on logistics and the supply chain was innovative, allowing him to keep costs low. In addition, Walmart was one of the first companies to use barcode scanning technology in its stores in the 1980s, which significantly improved efficiency in retail operations. Today, Walmart is one of the largest retailers in the world. The Cappadocia region in Turkey is famous for its unique rock formations, historic underground cities, and hot air balloon flights. Göreme, Uçhisar, and Derinkuyu are some of its most visited spots. Every day, dozens of balloons fill the sky at dawn, offering spectacular views of the landscape. During wildfires in the United States, especially in California, the phenomenon of trees burning from the inside has been documented. This effect occurs due to the accumulation of kindling, dry leaves, and resin in trunk cavities. Lightning or a spark can initiate combustion, which remains active without damaging the external foliage. Although they do not have an official technical name, some informally call them infernal trees. Experts describe the process as a natural chimney within the tree. The phenomenon has been observed in recent fires, such as those in Sonoma and Big Basin. This is how astronauts eat in space. Basically, they eat pre-prepared meals that meet each individual's nutritional requirements. The food can be canned, foil-wrapped, dehydrated, pre-cooked, and low moisture. Astronauts can heat food in low-temperature ovens found on spacecraft. For seasoning, they have access to salt diluted in water and pepper diluted in oil. Magnetic force, invisible yet powerful, is truly interesting, as this experiment demonstrates. Observe how these metallic spheres gain speed solely through magnetism. Between 1913 and 1920, it was legal to send children by mail in the United States. The parcel post service was introduced in 1913 at affordable prices. But there was one drawback. The definition of a package was unclear, which some interpreted as including children. The only restriction was weight, which could not exceed 23 kilograms, and for 7 years, at least 200 children were sent until the United States Congress prohibited it, deeming it cruel and inhumane. Keanu Reeves was very good as an ice hockey goaltender, and his dream was to compete professionally for Canada, but an injury ended his hopes. So, he changed his life's direction and dedicated himself to acting. Itacalumets are porous stones that can become flexible when cut into thin strips. Their structure allows for some movement between the quartz grains, which prevents them from breaking easily. This property has been documented in specimens from Brazil, India, and the United States, especially in regions like Minas Gerais and Georgia. Their appearance resembles a bonded but malleable sandstone. This flexibility depends on the cut's orientation and thickness. JBL, founded in 1946 by James Bullough Lansing, has been a benchmark in the audio industry since its inception. Lansing, who had previously worked on the development of loudspeakers for cinema, created JBL with the vision of offering high-fidelity sound for both professional and home use. In 1969, JBL revolutionized outdoor concerts by designing the sound systems used at the iconic Woodstock Festival. This feat solidified the company's leadership in sound quality at large events. In Brazil, as in other places, there are sled attractions that use articulated sliding cars. These systems incorporate brakes to control speed, which is essential for safety. The strange light illuminating the landscape could be due to an electrical discharge caused by a short circuit in a high-voltage installation. This type of event can generate intense and sudden flashes, especially if there are exposed power lines, defective transformers, or an overload in a nearby generating plant. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.